Welcome, everyone. We're going to take you back in time today, back into the 1950s in Ashland when baseball ruled. I have with me today Dave Carter, who was the writer, director, and producer of the Ashland Field of Dreams documentary. And Dave, I know you interviewed a lot of people, and we have a lot of extra footage, and this is just a great way to talk about that and to get more of that out there for the people to see.
One of my favorite interviews, Mark, was with the two guys who were the pioneers of black boys from Ashland playing organized baseball. In the 50s, there were two Americas, black and white, and I think the process of integration in our town was helped greatly by sports. And as I wrote, in every town in America, some young kids had to be the Jackie Robinsons for their local community. And in Ashland, those two guys were Bob Simpson and Reese Banks. And we have Bob Simpson with us today.
Bob, tell us a little bit about what it was like for you playing in the 1950s in Ashland.
Well, to start out with, when I started playing the ball, it was to the fact that the kid accepted me as a player, as a person, not as someone they looked down upon. And they were always on my, being my friendship and stuff. I did have a couple of problems. And I learned quite a bit that whenever we went somewhere else or someone said anything slang-wise or what, they were always backing me up. It was just like one big family, and they accepted me that way. And it continued on until I was finished with playing baseball with that crew. I enjoyed it, scared sometimes, but I still enjoyed it, and I had good friends and a good relationship. So I can't downgrade them at all, I enjoy the tournaments, enjoyed where I stayed. Sometimes it was questioned where I would stay. I had to stay in one neighborhood and the other guys stay in the other, but the guys got together and said, can't do it, stay together. So that's where it went.
All right, now let's go to the interviews with Bob Simpson and Reese Banks.
Change was happening. Little by little, each town in America had its own youthful version of Jackie Robinson. In Ashland, those pioneers were Bob Simpson and Reese Banks.
We were talking about that a little last night on some of the things that took place, and fortunately, one of the good things that happened is that we were ball players. Right. We played baseball. That's what we wanted to do, is play baseball, and fortunately, the guys that we played baseball with was great. Had no problem whatsoever out of the teammates or opponents that we went up against. It's just super. And I guess some of the adults were the ones that we had problems with that stood in the way of actually ball playing. The coaches were super. They gave us opportunities to do some things, and we had a good time. Huh?
It was like our family, in essence. You never felt downgraded in any sense of the word with the teams who we played with, who our teammates were, or like you said, the opponents. It was just like, we were all one big happy family in essence. Although we played against each other, it was never anything. There were no arguments. We didn't have any arguments with anybody. We never fought with anybody. It was a given thing. But like you said, some of the parents were the obstacles that they didn't tend to like us. They didn't like us. That's all it was to it. But even going on our tournaments and out to different parts of the country, our guys stood behind us. And like I told Reese knows when I went. Just talked about this earlier with Gary when I went to West Virginia. I think that's where it was when I hit a triple, and that kind of good stuff. And then the pitcher didn't particularly like it when I got up the second time because he hit me in the head with the baseball. And I said, okay. Yeah.
Well, that's baseball.
Yeah, exactly. Wasn't no apologies, none whatsoever. He just hit me in the head. I couldn't get out of the way. The guy was throwing pretty hard. And I just couldn't get out of the way, and he hit me right in the head with the baseball. And the guys wanted to take me away and put me back into the hotel. Which, by the way, that's when I ran into some of the racial issues due to the fact that they didn't want me to stay with the guys. They wanted to put me on the other side of the town where all the black people stay. And the guys and the coaches said, no, where we stay, he stays. Which made me feel pretty daggone good, you know, because I was scared to go somewhere I know anything about. But like the teams were our home, our friends.
Oh yeah, that was it. You know, once we got with the team, we felt at home. We were at home. That was our buddies. That was our support systems, and it was just super. I mean, not only during the games, after the games. You know, we'd see each other in the community, and it was always a fond greeting. I mean, and then it's just. I remember on Saturdays, sometimes we'd go down in front of the bank building. We'd always know that there's a group of guys down there. We'd just swap stories. You know, we'd have games, especially during the basketball season. You know, we'd have a game on a Friday, and then Saturday morning, you know, we'd have to go and get critiqued in a way. How did the game go? And well, you did this, you did that. So that was just the super, just the working relationships are not working because nobody had a job. But then that was our job. The playing baseball had a fantastic time, and with all the guys like J.D. Brown, he showed me the picture that I gave him in my sophomore year, and the writing on the back is to J.D. Brown, to my best friend, which is true. I mean, that was my best friend, you know, J.D. And then it is. Our friends, the friendships expanded and expanded, and we just had a great time.
Conley.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He was one of my best buddies there. And Jim Speaks and Ed Perry. Just the back and show himself. You know. It was just fantastic, you know, and to find, if anything, any problems you had, you could discuss it with the guys, you know, and was not one racial slur out of any of the teams we played with or against, you know.
Not the players.
Not the players, but outside of that, we were brought back to reality in certain times, you know.
Yeah.
And,
I guess I experienced it early on when in the Pony League, mainly.
Yeah.
And I guess that was early on. That was
You want to share
very,
that story?
very, very beginning of it.
Right over there.
I can remember that. I look over there and see where I used to was going out to right field. We were playing against Ironton. I remember that. And of course, we'd always try to beat Ironton. And Eddie Smith had talked to me. He says, "Hey, he says, I want you to come play with us." I said, "No problem." And I practiced a couple of times. No one said anything. But then game day, he said, "Okay, let's take the field." And I grabbed my glove, ran out to right field, and then all of a sudden one of the league officials came on the field and says, "No, no, no." He says, "He can't play. He cannot play." Now the rest of the guys, you know, looked around at it. They didn't know what was going on. They absolutely did not know a thing of what was going on, but the game was held up, and I remember Eddie and the official got into an argument, things of this nature, and then Eddie said, "Well," he said, "I'm sorry." He said, "I got to apologize to you." He says, "But believe me," he says, "next year this is not going to happen." And I believed him, and he fulfilled his promise to me because I was able to play and enjoyed myself. But that was one of the things that I remember, and I guess that helped me to strive a little bit harder because I was going to show some people that I deserved to be out there and I could play just as well as anybody else. But that was one of those setbacks that I can still remember today as I look over toward right field that that's one of those unpleasant memories. But then overwhelming majority of the memories I have are great.
You can tell us about the next year. Then what happened?
Oh, the next year. Well, we had the team, JD, and that was Sergeant, there was Standard Oil. Oh, we had one heck of a team.
And I kept trying to figure out why Reese and I played together. I said, well, Standard Oil. We played against Standard Oil. Or was it
No, it wasn't Standard Oil. It was some
another
other team.
we played together?
Yeah.
And then, for some reason or another, when they changed the leagues or whatever, we got separated. He was put on one team and I was put on another.
Yeah.
You know, and we were it. He and I were the black kids on the block were it on the different teams. And I always had to play against him, and he used to say, well, how the hell he's going to, you know, we get to the tournaments of my team, because we beat them. Reese wasn't too happy about that, but, you know, but I was. And, you know, and then doing that, but we always kept together. We always discussed things. If we knew pitchers that played on other teams, we'd tell them how they pitched.
Yeah.
You know, so.
You had to share information back into there because, hey, I wanted him to succeed. Because the thing is, I know that we were out there and you know, we were the first out there to play, and we had to do well.
Did it open the door for others, you think, or?
I don't know if it opened the others, but for others. But then the thing is, we knew that we were out there, and there was a special responsibility that we had, you know, to the community, to the black community, to do our best and to excel, and you know, to show good sportsmanship. You know,
and I think you might be
rough
right.
tags and things like that. Hey, just got up. We didn't let anybody bother us. I mean, that because that was one of the things that was psychologically. I guess some of the players were just couldn't understand how we were able to get up, continue to go, and still be positive, because that was the thing. That was the psychic that we used. You know, being positive.
We did have. I will say that it did open doors, partially, somewhat, because some of the kids or friends that weren't going to play baseball, you know, black kids, did start coming out, because Richie would tell them, hey, you need to try out. I'd tell them, go out and try out for these teams, you know, and see if you don't enjoy some of the sports. And that way I do think that it did start bringing some of us out.
I guess somebody had to be first.
Yeah, and we were it. I would say we were it.
But did you realize that we didn't even look at it like that? We were the first. The thing is,
didn't
we were just
even
out
think
there
about it.
playing and saying, hey, there's
wanted to
other
play ball.
guys in the community that could also play. And they needed to come on out to take that opportunity, and maybe being reluctant of getting out, because at that particular time, I guess we knew where we could go and where we couldn't go.
Right.
Now, some of our teammates, I remember after some of the games, you know, the guys would say, well, we're going to go to the movie theater, things of this nature. But then we would come up with some excuse for not going, because we knew we couldn't go into the movie theaters. That's a big no-no. So we knew more than our teammates knew as far as the racial stuff that was going on, the segregation. I don't think it was racial. It was just the law of the area. It was integration. I mean, it was not integration. It was segregation. But then all of a sudden we would chip away, and we went out through there and played. And then we said, well, this is an opportunity. We were given an opportunity to do some things, and so since we had opportunities, we encouraged some of the others. Hey, look, come on, try out. It is not as bad as you think it is. You know?
You all didn't play in the Little League, right? You played.
No.
The Pony League was the first thing.
Yeah, the Pony League was the first
thing we got
first
into.
thing. Yeah. And then our first year, we had the all-black team, and we were trying to remember some of the players because although it was segregated, still we were able to play as a black team. We were able to participate in Pony League. You know.
So it just grew.
We had a whole team, and then all of a sudden, I guess we just get on out there. But some of the games, I mean, some of the guys that we had, we were trying to remember who was our coach of the first black team, because it was Henry Tarter. Okay,
Yeah.
Henry.
Yeah.
Because I was just trying to just remember or trying to just think of what he went through and how he was able to convince the league
get
to
this
permit
on.
us to
Right.
have a team, you know.
But it worked.
It worked. It worked.
You guys talk about your memories of playing here, specifically this field, and maybe some of the
Good
funny
thing.
things that happen, good things that happen.
Man, Reese got hit baseball.
You see, folk keep telling me about that, but I don't remember that. They said, "Oh, the ball hit me in the head and went up, and then I grabbed it." and all that.
back, and he don't remember.
Oh, I don't
I guess that
remember
first
that.
hit when the ball hit him in the head, it just straws, you know.
I have
all the way.
selective memories and all that stuff. But I remember playing here. J.D. Brown was one of our toughest. Oh gosh,
Oh, he
the
was,
toughest
wasn't he,
pitcher.
pitcher?
Oh, now he didn't throw hard. He threw a bunch of junk up there because he kept you off balance. And I remember once, though, he didn't have me off balance.
Got him at
Put him
time.
to the trees.
Eddie Perry, he pitched. He was another that could put that ball in there. And I had to try to get adjusted to that, along with Eddie. And Eddie Joseph pitched too, didn't he?
Yeah.
And Esterling, was it? Yeah.
Easterling.
Easterling. He was.
Glendale.
He was something. He was
Yeah.
a heck of a pitcher, but we got accustomed to it. You know? But playing on these fields, the memories, the double plays, you know,
Marvin Hall.
Marvin,
Shag
this
that
guy
ball.
here,
Shag
me,
that ball.
you know, hey, he was my man. You know, our double plays there, and it's just being able to come out here on these fields.
Yeah.
And have a good time and have nobody interfere with us as far as the racial thing. You were colorblind.
When you cross that line, hey, that was home. I mean, that was sanctuary when you crossed that line. You had a good time. You had that uniform on. Oh, I was proud. Oh, man.
Heck yeah.
Had the uniform and the whole deal. And then I lived on 7th Street, and then I'd walk, you know, from down on Central all the way up here. And I guess that was one of our conditioning things, you know, because we'd always walk. We couldn't drive.
Yeah.
And then we got a bicycle and then sometimes flat tires. But the majority of the time we walked. And looking back at that, that was one of the best conditioning things that we had.
Especially walking in that flannel. Those flannel
Oh,
uniforms.
man.
But I was proud of
Proud of him.
Oh my
You know,
gosh.
proud to be in, and proud to play with the guys that we played with.
Yeah.
Gibbs, Conley, that's what we call him, Gibbs, and JD now, and then make the All-Star team. You know, and I was proud of that because I was it. You know?
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, was it because I was of color or was it because of the way I played ball?
No, you
Yes.
could play ball. You could play ball. You could hit that ball. I
Which
remember.
All-Star team was that?
Oh,
The Babe Ruth or
Babe Ruth, 57.
57?
There were two. There was 8 teams in Babe Ruth like in 57 the first year, 4 national and 4 American, and there was one league, but because of the like right now Little League has to have a certain population
Right,
base,
number of
and,
people.
in Ashland to be in the tournament, we were sanctioned for the first year. We had to split. We had to have 2 all-star teams, American and national, from Ashland. Like Catlettsburg had one, I think Hazard had one. And that was the eastern part of the state, literally, and we played on the American League team.
Yeah.
So you had a separate American and national?
There
All-Star
was
team?
that. Yes, there was a National League All-Star team. Gary played for the Braves, so he was against us in that
We had
tournament.
to play those two in order to
Yeah.
Pick one who's going to go to the
Right.
tournament.
Yes. So there were 4 teams that played.
And you made that, and that was a big moment, I
Oh
guess.
man,
Yeah, we went to the state
they,
first year,
All right, in 57?
Middlesboro.
Playing ball.
And side story, Reese made the team, obviously, if he's going to be on the All-Star team. They're a Yankees, and I'm a Tiger. And we had a couple practices here. Marvin Hall was the coach. And after about 2 practices, we had morning practices. And we came one morning, and Reese wasn't here. Bobby was here. We were doing our usual stuff around second and short. And then Marvin calls us over, all the guys, and he says, boys, he said, need to let you know that Reese's not going to be playing for us in the tournament. And I thought, my God, we can't. This is our best hitter. And they said, basically, I still remember this after when we talked. Reese has chosen to go to the National Scout Jamboree in Pennsylvania this summer.
Yeah.
It was in Valley Forge, and he said basically he and his parents decided that there'd be lots of ball games, but only one chance to go to the National Jamboree.
Wow.
That was the thing.
So you made the team, too?
Oh yeah, he made the
then
team.
The thing is, you had choices, but then due to the fact that with the strong family ties, you did what your parents wanted you to do, and plus, scouting was the important part of my life also. And the jamboree, the national jamboree, hey, had to go there. And
You probably missed playing a little bit, though, didn't you?
oh yeah, I missed that. But then the thing is,
Good opportunity.
I just understood that was a great opportunity to go to Valley Forge, and we didn't have that much money back into there, so when your parents put some money down, that's where you went. And so you had a lot of time to play ball later on, but very few opportunities to go to a national scout jamboree. And so, you see, that was the other part of the whole community involvement. We were involved in lots of other things besides baseball. The scouting program was instrumental part of my life, and so I remember going to summer camps out at Camp Verity with the Boy Scouts, and so scouting was important.
and it was two different lifestyles for Reese and for me. I was, like you said, we didn't have a whole lot of, my family didn't have a lot of money or anything like that. My dad did have the backup of our coaches and some of the families here were the teams that we played with, and I was a little worried at times, how was I going to be able to, afford some of the things we're going to do on the trips, and I was worried about it. I wouldn't let it be shown. And then my teammates, they all told me, hey, Buns, don't worry about it. Your family here, do not worry about it. Do not have that burden when we go play these guys, and whoever we're going to play, worrying about eating, worrying about anything at all. They said, you'll be covered. You look out for it, because you are, like we said, you are a family, so
Yeah, that's right.
that's it. So that made me feel so much better, and then I could play ball. Worry about just playing baseball. And this guy here, my backup.
Question: where'd you get the name Buns?
Who gave me that?
I don't know.
Did you do it to me?
No.
Who gave me that name?
Nothing to do with that.
And Reese,
Yes.
Kiss my buns.
you are James Banks.
Right.
Nobody
That's what
knows
came
you as
with it.
James.
I'm not, the thing, officially, the majority of times when you see James Banks in the newsprint, things like that, but then they knew me as Reese out here.
How'd you get that
How do
name?
we get you that name?
Well, my middle name is Maurice.
Maurice. That's where it come from.
And that's a no-brainer.
And
Maurice.
Mine could get on my nerves. I said, y'all just kiss my buns, and it just stuck.
And it's that was it. But no, and then many times people would get mixed up and confused and say, well, Reese did this, and then the next paragraph is James Banks. I said, they're talking about the same person. And I enjoyed it. I said, okay, they just don't know. So I actually had a big kick out of doing that.
You were so good they thought you were two players.
Hey, Unbelievable.
We just did so much stuff.
Oh yeah, but then the guys knew. I mean, the players knew. This is James Maynard. Oh yeah, there he is.
That's Reese.
That's Reese. That's right.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
All of them.
That old
Well,
fella
guys,
right
let's
there. Just seeing him right
this,
there.
This has been great. Let's get one wrap-up statement from each of you on at this stage of your life, literally 50 years or so after this was our life. What does this mean to you now?
What's it mean? Look at this. Look at that.
What does it mean?
Look at that. Well, you know, seeing Gary and JD and even Bobby, I hadn't seen him in years. I mean, it just brings back so many the good times.
Right.
Like you say, family. You can go different places in the world, but you always have family. And in Ashland and the ball players, that was family.
That was family.
That was
You
really
guys
big time.
were, you know, our family, and this was great to be able to come here and see all the guys that we played ball with, and bring back all the fantastic memories we had together as a family.
Mhm.
You know, that's outstanding. It's just great. I'm so glad Gary and you guys got this together. You know, when you called and told me this is what's going to happen, I said, I'm dead. This is something we've got to do. Because like Reese said, we will never see each other again, you know, in
gonna
this
be a long
lifetime.
while. Yeah.
So I want to be part of this. I want to come back.
And this is my scrapbook opportunity. I've got my camera. I'm gonna take a lot
Lot
of pictures. Oh
That's why
man.
I'm trying to figure out how to do this thing.
Yeah.
You know.
And you see, although we got a little bit grayer things of this nature, some of the just looking into eyes and the faces of the guys that played ball with us, many very pleasant memories. Like I say, it's family.
Yeah.
This is
This
family.
is it.
It's always good to just come back to be with the family. You see, since I've had my uncle was on the school board, my grandfather was also a part of the park board things for years. So I've been associated with some type of activity in sports. So this is home.
Yeah,
like
I
I said,
just took it
extended
with me.
family. You know.
I took it with me. When I left here and went to Cincinnati, I've had baseball teams. I've been coaching baseball teams. My teams won 2 championships, you know, and the memories and what I learned here, you know, took with me there, you know, so that's what it is.
As you can see, the 1950s were a very interesting time in Ashland sports, and the role that integration played, and how these young boys really were the pioneers of that time. And we appreciate them for being that and doing what they could to make things better for other people down the line. And we hope you enjoyed the time of the interviews with these men, and hope you'll join us again.